أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We are at hadith number 45. The title of this hadith Shareef is It's the Heart That Matters. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله لا ينظر إلى صوركم ولا إلى أجسادكم ولا إلى أموالكم ولكن ينظر إلى قلوبكم وأعمالكم. And read that again. إن الله لا ينظر إلى صوركم ولا إلى أجسادكم ولا إلى أموالكم ولكن ينظر إلى قلوبكم وأعمالكم. This Hadith Shareef is narrated in Tabarani Shareef, Rawahu Tabarani, which means it is from the Hadith Kitab, Hadith book called Tabarani by Imam Tabarani. So the translation, really Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not look at your form, suwarikum, that means your form, how you look. Allah doesn't look at your features, Allah doesn't look at your body, whether you are round or whether you're square, or whether you are white or whether you are yellow, or whatever colors you may be. Allah doesn't look at anything like that. Allah doesn't look at whether you are tall or whether you are short. Allah created you how Allah wanted to create you. So when it comes to the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, being any color doesn't matter to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether you have brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes, pink eyes, it doesn't matter to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether you got a big mouth, a round mouth, a small mouth, doesn't matter to Allah. Whether you got whatever color hair, whether you are tall, whether you're short, whether you are vertically challenged, whether you are thin, that doesn't matter when it comes to worship. Allah does not look at your features. Allah doesn't look ila suwarikum. Allah does not look at your appearances. Allah does not look at your form, nor what you wear, your clothes, things like that. I mean, some people dress in brands only. Some of our youngsters today is just brands, Nikes, and what else is brands? Gap. What else? Adidas and Jordans, Takis, and they don't want to wear other stuff. They don't want to wear normal Takis or stuff that you buy at Ackermans or Pick and Pay. You know, you must buy the best stuff at brands. Okay, that doesn't matter to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If two people are standing on the musalla and they're worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the one person is wearing an Adidas tracksuit, okay, and with the Adidas tracksuit, he's got a Nike top, okay, a Nike sweater, alright, and his socks is what? Gap or whatever, Zara or whatever, alright. He's got, he's kitted out, and his watch is Rolex, and his phone is Apple or Samsung, you know. So he's got all the brands on him, and next to him a man is standing, and that man is just wearing a plain cheap salah top that he bought here over the road, and he's got the topi on. Is Allah going to look, and is Allah going to accept your salah based on what you're wearing, or on the way you perform your salah? The way you perform your salah. Your brands don't mean anything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will look at your wudu. How did you make your wudu? Allah will look at how you performing your salah. Allah will look at what is in your heart. So Allah doesn't, this stuff doesn't matter to Allah when it comes to worship. Alright? Wala ila ajsadikum, your body. Allah doesn't look at your body. You can have what type of body? I mean, nowadays, we laugh at people who are challenged, vertically challenged. We laugh at people who are horizontally challenged. You know what I mean by that? Vertically challenged and horizontally challenged.
Like features of vertically challenged because they can't grow, and horizontally challenged are like people who have like obesity condition.
Yeah, so vertically and horizontally. So people who are short and people who are fat. Okay, so nowadays we laugh at people like that. Allah don't laugh at people like that. When they stand and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah don't look at their sizes. Allah don't look at short, nothing like that. Is it considered sin but bad to wake yourself up like you eat too much and then you become pregnant? To do it purposely. Okay, we'll answer that question afterwards. All right, let's just finish this Hadith Shareef. So Allah doesn't look at your body, okay, when it comes to worship. Wala ila amwalikum. Allah doesn't look at your wealth, your money, what you have. Okay, that don't matter. When a rich man stand next to a poor man, Allah don't say, okay, this rich man, maybe his salah is better. Maybe he's got attar on and he smells nice. No, they don't matter to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why when you go for Hajj and you're performing your Hajj or you're making tawaf of the Kaaba, when you go on Umrah, what do you wear? You wear the ihram. Everybody looks the same. The black stands next to the white, the rich stands next to the poor. You're all equal in the sights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, except when it comes to your taqwa, except when it comes to your piety. Your only difference in the sights of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is your piety, your color, your wealth, your body, your social status, your standings, your health. Nothing matters to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it comes to worship, when it comes to ibadah, the only thing is your taqwa. So Allah doesn't look at your money also. Allah won't say, okay, that person's got more money and that person got less money, come, I accept the namaz or the salah of that person who has more money. No. Nothing like that. Walakin, but ينظر إلى قلوبكم وأعمالكم. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala look at? Allah looks at your heart. Allah looks at your heart. Why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala look at your heart? Who can tell me? What is in the heart? Why doesn't this money matter, or the body, or the money, or anything else, your appearances? Why the heart? Yeah, there we go. The sincerity. Allah looks for the sincerity in the heart. Why are you doing this action? What is your motivation behind doing this action? Are you doing the action for show, or are you doing the action for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at. Allah looks at the sincerity. Allah looks at your heart. You know, are you doing it with a good heart for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are you doing it because you want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You know, there's nothing about show here. Everything is, there's another hadith, I think you learned this already. Inna Allah la yaqbalu min al-amali illa ma kana khalisa wa batughiya bihi wajhu. Allah doesn't accept any amal, any deed which is not khalis, which is not sincere. If the deed is not sincere, Allah does not accept it. Wa batughiya bihi wajhu. Hello. And the deed must be done to gain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alright? So this is important things that you must remember for the rest of your life. Because good deeds is all over the show. Every kullu ma'rufin sadaqah. Amir, you remember? Kullu ma'rufin sadaqah. Every act of kindness is a charity. Every act of kindness is a sadaqah. If you smile with somebody, it is an act of kindness. If you help somebody, if I tell you, take this water of mine, or if I should tell somebody, Imran, take my bag to the car, and you take my bag to the car happily, are you being kind or unkind to me? You're being kind to me. Raqib is coughing in class. If you had a holes, you give it to him. Okay? Are you being kind or unkind to him? You're being kind to him. You give him a sip of water because he's coughing. You're being kind. Any act of kindness, kullu ma'rufin sadaqah. Every act of kindness is charity. And when you do this charity, you get a reward from Allah. You might forget it. Allah will never forget it. If I ask you, you are now 14 years old, 15, 25 years old one day when you are, and the day of your nikah, inshallah, when I perform your nikah, then I'm going to ask you, inshallah, Imran, do you remember on the 3rd of October 2004, there was one guy in the class who was coughing and then you gave him a sweet. Do you remember? Oh, no, I don't remember, Maulana. You won't remember. It's 10 years later. Eh? You know who doesn't forget? Allah. Allah doesn't forget. Can you write down all the good things you did last week? Can any of you do that? All the good things you did last week, each and everything, can you write it down? If I tell you now, last week Thursday, last week Thursday, all the good things you did last week Thursday, write it down for me. Can you do it? Who can do that? Allah. Allah's written it down already. So you might forget the good that you do, but Allah doesn't forget the good that you do. Okay? Inna Allah la yudhi'u ajra al-muhsinin. Those who do good, Allah does not let your reward of that goodness go to waste. It will not go to waste. You will get the reward for it. So anything, any act of kindness, any good thing that you do, you get the reward from Allah. Thawab, reward, jaza, points. You're playing games, no? Mr. Chocolate? Points go higher and higher and higher. And you get bonuses, no? Allah accumulates all your points like that. And when you come to Allah on the Day of Judgment, those who got the most points, you win the game. The higher the points you have, the higher your rank in Jannah, the higher your place in Jannah, the higher your home in Jannah. If your points is not so good, you go to level 1 of Jannah. If points is better, you might be in level 2 in Jannah. If your points is better, you might be in level 3. But if your points is quiet, maybe you can be there in Jannatul Firdaus. You must always say Jannatul Firdaus. You know why? Jannatul Firdaus is the highest level of Jannah. So every act of kindness guarantees you points, guarantees you thawab and reward. But you don't do it for show. If you see him cough, hear him cough, and if you had sweets on you, and you think, come, he's coughing, let me give him sweet. That is with a good intention. You're not giving him the sweets so that Monday he comes to madrasa and brings you like 2 chocolates. You're doing it with that intention. Now let me give him a sweet, maybe next week he bring me a chocolate. No, that is not that intention is not right. Okay? You do it with a sincere intention. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at. Allah looks at your heart. One day a man comes into the masjid and he performs salah fast. Fast. And Sayyidina Ali is in the masjid. Who is Sayyidina Ali? Right, the cousin of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the son-in-law also of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the father of Imam Hassan and Hussein. Right, Sayyidina Ali is in the masjid. Sayyidina Ali see this man up and down making this namaz, just up and down, kiss the ground. Sayyidina Ali went to him, wow, what is this? What kind of namaz is this? Make your namaz over. So the man said, right, Allah Akbar. Took his time. Goes into ruku, take his time. Alhamdulillah, take his time. Go to sujood, take his time. And make a quiet namaz. Nice namaz he made. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Sayyidina Ali asked him, now tell me now, which namaz was better? That first namaz that you made so fast, or the second namaz? So he said, the first namaz was better. And then Sayyidina Ali said, first namaz? He said, yeah, the first namaz I made for Allah, the second namaz I made for you. Because you said I must make slow namaz. So, the first salah he made for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all your worship, all your good deeds, all your actions, all the good that you do must be khalis, must be sincere, not for ulterior motives. Let me give him a holes so that he brings me 2 chocolates. That's ulterior motives. Let me do this, so maybe he does that for me. No, you do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a good intention. That is why Rasulullah says, وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَىٰ قُلُوبِكُمْ. But Allah looks at your heart. Allah looks in your heart. Why are you doing this action? What is your motivation behind doing this? Are you doing this to please me, or are you doing it for somebody else? Am I making my salah to please my parents, or am I making my salah to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Am I going to the mosque to please my parents, or am I going to the mosque to please Allah? You know, when you're small, it's different. You know, they say from the age of 17 to 19, there's some saying like that. You perform salah because of your parents, because your parents tell you. And it's the duty of the parents. Parents must tell you, perform your salah. Did you make your salah? Don't they say that at home? Did you make your salah? Did you make your maghrib already? Did you make your isha? Did you make your salah? You come home from school, say, go make your salah. It is the duty of the parents to tell you that. They must remind you. Because if the parents don't remind you, children are like that, sometimes you're not going to worry to perform your salah. So then you perform your salah because your parents are telling you. But what are they doing? They are formulating the habit within you. What are they doing? They're formulating the habit within you. And then after 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, or whatever the case may be, the habit forms in you. Then your parents don't have to tell you anymore to perform salah, because you've got that habit. You're bigger now. You're 15 years old. You're 16 years old. You understand that you have to perform your salah. Am I right? I mean, you are now 15. Do your parents still have to tell you to perform salah? No, you know that you must perform your maghrib. Before you sleep, you must go perform your isha. When you come from school, zahar, you get up early enough to perform your fajr. You know that because you're big. A 9-year-old is different, maybe. Some 9-year-olds, you don't need to tell them. But what I'm saying, the bigger you get, then you become more responsible. So when you get bigger, you're in that habit. All right. So then they say the first part of your life, you perform salah for your parents, and the second part of your life, you perform salah because of a habit. You form the habit of performing salah. So come, yes, I know I must perform my salah. It's maghrib time, I need to perform my maghrib. Okay, latest isha. Okay, I need to perform my isha. It becomes a habit. Then you perform your salah. And only later on in your life do you understand that salah must be performed not because of parents or not because of habit, but because for the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the sake of Allah. And later on in your life, you start performing your salah for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to gain the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alright. So Allah looks at your qulubikum. Allah looks at your heart. Wa a'malikum. And Allah looks at your actions. Allah looks at your deeds. Allah looks to see from the heart to the deeds. So you look at the heart first. So the heart will dictate whether the deed is sincere or not, whether the deed is with a good action or not, whether the action is is based on a solid niyyah. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at your action. So this Hadith Shareef, inshallah, memorize this Hadith Shareef, discuss it tonight. Discuss it tonight around the supper table with your family. I know you won't know the Arabic by tonight, but you must know it by next week. But you know the English, so you can discuss it with your parents tonight. Alright, learn this Hadith Shareef by heart. Inshallah, very beautiful Hadith Shareef. Alright, and here also it says society today is driven by appearance, status, wealth, recognition, and social standing. Also, the youth today are judged by popularity on social networks. It's mostly about how many views and likes your posts on Instagram and other platforms generate. Society thinks that this is what is important, and this is how we are seen and judged as individuals and as Muslims. Isn't it so? I know of youngsters also, they just want followers. Huh? That is important. How many followers do I have on Instagram? You got 1,000 followers. Do you know 1,000 people? Do you know 1,000 people? Do you know 1,000 people? I don't think you know 1,000 people. So if you have 1,000 followers on Instagram, then I don't wonder who those followers are. Isn't it so? But we want followers. We want to tell our friends, I've got 1,000 followers. Oh, I got 1,500 followers. I have so many friends on Facebook. Or I took a photo and posted it on Instagram and I got so many likes. No, we like to do that, no? Nothing is judged by that. Only thing that is judged is you by people when you do things like that. So be careful of social media. We can have a lesson one day about social media, the dangers of social media. Who here is regularly on social media? I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you got Instagram accounts and Facebook accounts and things like that. Just be careful with these things. We'll speak about it one day, about the dangers of Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and what else? All these things, and the likes and the views and the followers, the murids. You know what's a murid? A murid. No, you don't know. Okay, never mind. Alright, inshallah, so that's today's lesson. I'll post this lesson as soon as I upload it, inshallah, then I'll send it to you guys. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.